Hello, folks, and welcome to another episode of the Cubs Line Podcast. I'm Ryan Dunleavy,
And I'm Ron Zelensky.
and today we are going to break down the trade deadline for you and some of the Cubs moves. If you guys do not know, the Cubs at the deadline acquired starting pitcher slash relief pitcher Mike Soroka, relief pitcher Andrew Kittredge, utility man Willie Castro, and then they made a buzzer beater trade for reliever Taylor Rogers. Ryan, what was your kind of overall thoughts from the trade deadline for the Cubs and just in general?
I'll give him a C minus. Like that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. So I know we'll dive deeper into that later, but I was upset that they didn't make a move. Until last night, but then they really didn't make a move until like 4:30 or something like that. I think the Castro trade was at like 4:30. I think they could have got a lot more. I feel like people are overreacting a little bit. Like I saw someone say like an F trade deadline. Like okay, it wasn't that bad. Like they filled the utility man need, like a Vidal Brujan type. They got Soroka who can start, like his expected start ERA is a 3.22. So if he's scheduled to start, he's been pretty good this year. And then Kittredge, kind of just fill in a roster spot there. He can fill innings, he can do his job. And then Taylor Rogers, really good left-handed pitcher out of the bullpen. So I like who they got, but I just think they should have done a lot more.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And not to be kind of down or anything, but seeing what teams like the Phillies, the Mets, the Dodgers, like what some of these teams did, I don't know if they really can compete in the playoffs with other teams pitching. The bats for the Cubs are there, but I don't think their pitching is even in the same ballpark as some of these teams.
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, I think the biggest need, I think I would have rather had a frontline starter and like no relievers than what they did.
Yeah, 100%. You really needed a starting pitcher, Joe Ryan, Mackenzie Gore, Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, Sandy Alcantara, Edward Cooper. I can go on and on for days and days, and the Cubs did not acquire a starting pitcher. Like, the one need, Mackenzie Gore, I get. They wanted Matt Shaw, Moises Ballesteros, Owen Casey, Jonathan Long, plus an MLB ready pitcher. I understand you're not ready to do that, but you got to make a move for some type of starting pitcher that can be a number two or a three for you. Because right now, there's only two guys that I'm confident in to start a playoff game for them. And the other guys, I don't know what the heck we're going to get from them.
Yeah, I mean, JMO, there's some hope there. He was okay until about May, and then he got hurt. I mean, he's shown signs of, being a good pitcher, but I mean, it's not like because think about it. If let's say they win the division and they're playing and they're top two, they're gonna be playing in, the NLDS. So if you lose the first two, it's a road elimination game in game three, and I just don't think Jamison Tyone is the guy for a game like that.
No, not at all. Tyone, no offense, is the definition of a middle pitcher. Like, he's not good, he's not bad. He's inconsistent. Like, he's the definition of mid, honestly. And then Javier Assad, I know the velocity dipped a lot, so I have no clue what we're going to get from them. And we're banking on a guy who's coming back, two guys that are coming back from injuries, and we have no clue what we are going to get from them.
Yeah, I do definitely think that kind of was in Jed's mind, like, oh, we're getting Assad back, so I don't have to be that aggressive. Like I have a feeling that's kind of what he was thinking about, and I don't get it.
Yeah, so now we will break down the Cubs trades that they made today. Pretty disappointing deadline from them. I mean, Hoyer gets his extension, then he does Jack. So that's kind of frustrating, but we'll break down. So obviously, the first trade they received Mike Soroka from the Washington Nationals in exchange for the Cubs' 13th and 14th prospect Ronnie Cruz and Christian Franklin. He's a former All Star in 2019 on the Braves. He's now a back in the rotation kind of guy. He currently has a 4.87 ERA, but strong metrics. He's 75th percentile in expected ERA and a solid opponent exit velocity marks. He works low to mid 90s fastballs with a solid splitter and changeup mix. Strikeout to walk ratio improved in 2025. Durable but injury history includes Achilles tear and a forearm scar. Um, Versatile, he can pitch in the bullpen or start, so that's something that you like to see. And then a late trade at night yesterday, the Cubs acquired Andrew Kittredge from the Baltimore Orioles in exchange for shortstop Wilfrey De La Cruz. I believe he was the Cubs' 16th or 17th
I
prospect.
think it was 17. Yeah.
Kittredge is a 35-year-old left-handed reliever with a 3.45 ERA over 31 games in 2025. The veteran arm with consistency in low leverage innings deep into the season this year so far. He Some of the things he does well is he commands a slider and a sinker, and he's a trusted matchup versus left-handed hitters. He is just kind of like a guy who can pitch wherever you need him. If you need him in the late innings, he'll pitch late innings. If you need him in the early innings, he'll pitch early innings. He's been on a bunch of different teams, and he's a righty, and kind of a cool story from Kittredge. Flew with the team to Chicago, and then 30 minutes later, he was informed that he was traded. So he just had to do a quick little hotel move, and he said the Oriole he wants to get out the most this weekend is Gunnar Henderson. So I'm excited to see what Kit can do in his Cubs debut. Those were the two moves from yesterday. Then the two moves from today. The Cubs acquired from the Minnesota Twins utility man Willie Castro for Ryan Gallagher, who's the Cubs' eighth prospect, I believe. And then another pitching prospect. He's a 28-year-old switch hitting. Um, he was a former All Star in 2024. He plays multiple infield and outfield positions. In 86 games, he's hitting 245 with the 7.43 on base percentage or OPS. He is a really good bat versus lefties, which the Cubs have struggled with. The only guy who's been consistent against lefties is Seiya Suzuki. So that's good. And another thing, he can play wherever you need him to. He'll be PCA's backup in center field and can play some third base for Matty Shaw. He's a
I mean,
nice
he
bench.
can. Yeah, anybody that's benched, he can be the replacement. He's played six positions this year. I mean, anywhere in the outfield, third, second, sure, he can play anywhere.
Yeah, for sure. That's what you love about Castro. He's a nice bench piece and versatile. So I like that move. And then the last trade, the Cubs acquired from the Pittsburgh Pirates Taylor Rogers in exchange for Ivan Brethrow and cash considerations. I know people were saying Brethrow is projected to be the next Aaron Judge, big, tall frame right fielder with a lot of power and a big swing, but he's not going to be up for a while, so I'm not sure. Rogers was dealt to the Pirates just one day earlier after being traded for Cabrian Hayes, and then Chicago jumped on it at the last minute. He's 34 years old. He debuted in 2016 with Minnesota. He was an All Star in 2021 with the Twins and has pitched for six different franchises before joining the Cubs. This year, he's posted a 2.45 ERA with a 1.455 WHIP over 40 games, 33 innings, with the Reds tallying 34 strikeouts, but he has a high walk rate. He uses a sinker and a sweeping slider. I like this fit a lot. What was your favorite trade?
I think that one right there, Taylor Rogers, don't think they paid too much for him. I think number two is probably Willie just because of what he brings to the roster. We needed a guy like, a utility guy who can kind of fill the need or kind of back up anybody in the lineup right now. So I like the Willie Castro move a lot. Can hit the lefties, which is something the Cubs, they can't really do. And yeah, I mean, I'm glad that he can really play anywhere. And then Taylor Rogers I mean, he's a strong left-hander that's coming to this bullpen. So those two moves, very intriguing. I think the Mike Soroka move, I think Jed's gonna put him in the rotation. I think that's his kind of starter that he went out and got. So I mean, again, like I said, his expected start ERA is a 3.22. That's a pretty good ERA for a starter. That's right. I think that's the three right now. I think that's better than Colin, Ben, and Cade right now. So I mean that's good, but his ERA is up I think to 4.8, something like that. But again, when he's scheduled to start, he's got a 3.22 ERA. I'll take that. So I think that Soroka move is kind of Jed's starter that he went out and acquired, but would have liked it to be a starter that's a lot better. And then the Kittredge move, not really a huge move. I'll take it though. He's gonna give or pitch some innings. Potentially could pitch some clutch innings for this team. Not a big move, but I'll take it.
Yeah, so then with the roster move today, the Cubs put Miguel Amaya on the 60-day IL. Don't overreact because he already served his 60 days. I believe he's at 67 days right now from being hurt. So the Cubs can activate him whenever he is needed. That was just to free up a spot, which I was totally okay with. So I assume when Miguel Amaya comes back, it'll be Reese McGuire that gets the nod down to Iowa Cubs. Nothing that Reese did, just Miguel's a way better player than him. And then Castro, kind of a utility guy. I assume the Cubs will DFA John Birdie or send him down to Iowa at least. I would way rather keep Justin Turner on this roster than Birdie. He has playoff experience and can hit well against lefties. I'd way rather keep Justin Turner than John Birdie. And Birdie was kind of the utility man, him and Vidal. So Castro will take that role. So I assume Birdie will be going down in the next day. And then obviously Taylor Rogers. Sorry, I keep getting confused with Taylor and Tyler because they're identical twins. Like I've always known them, but now one's on the Cubs. Taylor Rogers. Taylor Rogers took Presley's spot. Presley was DFA'd today. No surprise there. And I think Andrew Kittredge will take Gavin Hollowell's spot. And then Soroka will take Brooks Kriski's spot. But you can also flip flop Soroka, Ben Brown, bullpen starting. Ben Brown has proved to work well out of the bullpen in past appearances. And then in Iowa for some other relievers that you can call up, you got Porter Hodge, Luke Little, and Riley Martin. Porter Hodge has been very shaky in his rehab starts and was not good with the Cubs, so I doubt you'll see him up anytime soon. Luke Little, you guys should be familiar with him, a big lefty that has a nasty slider and pumps up the radar. Um, we will be having Luke Little on the podcast soon for a player interview. Super excited for that. He made a big impact last year until he was hurt. He was just starting to get in Craig Counsell's trust circle. So I'm super excited to see what Luke Little can do when he comes back up. And then also Riley Martin. He's been a homegrown prospect from Illinois. I assume we'll see him up in the big league soon. And then starter wise, you got Kenta Maeda, who has playoff experience, a veteran. He's been doing a little better as of late. Brandon Birdsell, I was watching him on Marquee tonight. The Cubs seventh ranked prospect. It was his first start back, one of them at least. He went six no hit innings tonight. He has a funky arm slot. He kind of short arms it, messes with hair. He's a jack dude. I can see Birdsell coming up. And then you also got Connor Noland, who's had a very impressive season for the Iowa Cubs. What are your predictions?
Well, first I want to ask you, would you think about putting Kenta Maeda on the postseason roster just because of the experience he's had?
100%. I actually like that. Maeda has pitched playoff innings before. He can give you an inning or two. He could give you long innings. It just depends, and I don't think that's a bad idea at all. And a September call-up candidate.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you on Birdsell too, because I mean, I think he's ready. He pitched really good tonight. But yeah, so I think he's ready to go. I don't know if I would trust him fully like in a playoff game. Definitely a September call up though, but I don't know if I would trust him in a playoff game just because of he's still young. But definitely Kenta Maeda. I'm happy with the Ryan Presley move. I know that he he was starting to find himself a little bit, and then he got bad again. So I'm kind of glad that that experiment is over. Uh, I would way rather have Taylor Rogers instead of Ryan Presley. I think that Kittredge will come in for Gavin Hollowell, like you said, and then I think Soroka will come and take Krisky's spot on the roster. I do think Soroka will come in, be the five starter for right now. Ben Brown will go to the bullpen, but then potentially could take Colin Ray's spot at the four. Um, and then, or Colin Ray, wait, Colin Ray's the three right now, right?
No, Colin Ray is not the three. It goes Shota, and then you got Matty Boyd. Then it's Cade Horton, then
Oh,
Colin
Cade.
Ray.
That's right. I get Cade and Colin, Cade's spot and Colin's spot mixed up all the time. I keep forgetting which one's the three and which one's the four. So yeah, so I would put. I mean, yeah, maybe even he performs well and then becomes the three. So yeah, I would do that. And then for Amaya, I think that's obvious. Reese McGuire. I don't really think that any argument should be made there. I think Mo Baller deserves a spot on this team. And then maybe, I mean, yeah, I think it's between Justin Turner and John Birdie, who Willie Castro is going to take. I know that, Justin Turner has the playoff experience, but I just think, you know, Justin Turner, I mean, what?
I think Justin Turner is way more valuable to this ball club than John Birdie,
You
personally.
literally said like a week ago, you were like, Justin Turner, no value to this team. He's a waste of a roster spot.
Well, that's because he has playoff experience, though. He's won a World Series. As we've seen, he's been a great mentor to these younger guys. He's a perfect 1 year signing. Like, he's not going to be on this roster next year. Use what you can of him now. Help him with the younger guys. Mentor guys like Matt Shaw, Mo Baller in their young careers. He has playoff experience. Just he's not going to probably swing a bat in the playoffs, but he's a great locker room guy. He's a glue guy.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't done, any of those things yet, but maybe that will come. But I think they're gonna send down John Birdie. I think it's, um I think John Birdie just, yeah, again, he doesn't really serve much purpose. I think he should serve more purpose. He just doesn't get the chance. But yeah, I think Birdie will go down. And then am I missing anybody? I think
No,
I
I think you
covered it.
got it all covered. And then next thing I got is the the kind of fielding chart. So you're gonna have Amaya and you're gonna have Kelly at the catcher spot. As of now, I'm gonna give Kelly all of the reps. He has the experience and he has had a great season this year. He's controlled the pitching staff well, and he's got a great right-handed bat. But I'm excited to see what Miggy can do. He had a two-hit night for the Iowa Cubs tonight and commanded Birdsell very well. 6 hits, 6 innings of no hit baseball. That's obviously mainly the pitcher, but catcher calling a good game as well plays into it. Michael Bush is going to get all the reps at first base, no matter if it's lefty lefty or if it's lefty righty, no matter what. I think Bush will be getting all the reps. And then your middle infield is Nico and Dansby. And then at third base, it'll be Willie Castro and Matt Shaw platooning, is my guess. I'm sure that against lefties, it'll probably be
It'll be
Castro.
Castro. Yeah, it'll definitely be Castro.
I think it'll mainly be Castro, if I'm going to be completely honest. He has the experience, and Matt Shaw is going to be more of a defensive replacement and pinch runner. What do you think about that?
Oh, 100%. Like, honestly, going forward, I don't know about, now, but I think as we get into late September or mid-September and then, the playoffs, I think if it's 3-0 Cubs in a playoff game or like, I think that's when Matt Shaw goes in. But I feel like I think Willie Castro should start most, if not, almost all the games. But yeah, like I mean, if they're up 3, 4 runs, I think you put Matt Shaw in just because of his Gold Glove level defense.
Yeah, and then where do you think you put Castro in this lineup?
So he's hitting what 245 now.
He was the two hitter for the Twins.
Yeah, I mean, I just think the top four right now are so untouchable. I mean, you're not gonna clean up. Not gonna put him at the cleanup. I think you put him like 6 through 8, maybe 5 through 7, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I think he's a 6 through 8 hitter for sure.
Yeah, like you can't. I mean, I don't think you can take Nico or Bushy out of the leadoff spot. I think you know, Tucker's a two-hitter, Say's a three-hitter. I don't know about PCA if he's. I mean, he's not hitting like a four-hitter right now, but he's been doing okay there. I would like to see him more. I mean, maybe even it's just tough, because of how good the top three is. So yeah, I think Castro is more of a 6, 7, 8, or like a 5 through 8 kind of guy.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And then in the outfield, obviously, you're going to have Tucker and PCA. Honestly, versus righties, I'm starting to give Mo Baller more reps than Ian Happ. Yeah, you can let Happ play versus lefties. You can let JT play versus lefties, but I'm starting to give Mo Baller some more reps versus right-handed pitching. So I either have Seiya Suzuki in left field or Ian Happ in left field, and then DHing. You either have Seiya or Mo Baller. What do you think about that?
I completely agree. I think Mo Baller like definitely deserves another shot just again because he came in not even like not even like his hit against the White Sox when it was like 12-2. That was a huge clutch moment for him. Big double there. I think he deserves more time there. So I think against righties you go him, and then lefties, yeah, like more of like kind of what they've been doing. But yeah, I think Mo Baller deserves a lot more playing time.
100%. And then on my bench, it's either whoever's not playing between Carson Kelly and Miguel Amaya, Matt Shaw, and then you have whoever's not playing between Mo Baller and Hap. And then my September call up is Owen Casey. Now that you kept him on this roster, I think he's going to be a long stay. What about you?
Yeah, I think Casey or Kevin will be September call up. My guess is Casey though, and then like Casey, I think that's obvious. There's no real reason why they shouldn't. And then yeah, Amaya Kelly on the bench, whoever's not starting. But yeah, I agree with you.
Another guy you could throw in that mix is also Jonathan Long. Is another guy who they hung on to. He's a corner infielder with some crazy pop from the right side.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You could go either of those three, and I will be satisfied with that. So that's the. And then my next question is, with the Cubs not trading away Owen Casey, do you think that means it's a more likelihood that Kyle Tucker they won't resign?
100%. I think Owen Casey is the future right fielder, or kind of wherever they're gonna stick him. But yeah, I do not think Kyle Tucker will be wearing the Cubby blue next season.
I agree with that. I love what Tuck's done this year, but I can't see him in the long term.
And also, David Kaplan posted a video today. I don't know if you saw it.
I
He
did.
said,
I did see that.
500 million for this guy. Like how many times has he come up and it's a rollover? When was the last time that you needed a big clutch hit out of him and he actually came through? It's a good point. There's no reason why you should be paying $500 million. I think he's hitting 205 since late June. So yeah, I mean, as much as I would love the superstar Kyle Tucker to stay, and I know they gave up so much for him, people are gonna laugh. But I honestly think that there's kind of a correctness, I'll say, in not re-signing him because again, like I mean, it's not like he's the best fielder ever, and he's got a bat, but he's been slumping, for a little bit now.
Yeah, and Owen Casey has been on base three times tonight. He had a single, a double, and then he had a diving catch. Just beautiful outfielding. He's quite the day for the Cubs' top ranked prospect, and I think he'll be in the Cubby blue in the near future.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be the future right fielder.
Yeah, so now we'll break down the trades from today. We don't really have to give a grade, just some thoughts on it. So our first trade that got us rolling today. Sorry, I'm pulling it up right now. So the Kittredge trade was actually finished this morning. So technically that was the first one. And then Shane Bieber to the Blue Jays in exchange for right-handed pitcher Cal Steven. He was Toronto's fifth-ranked prospect. John Morosi broke this. Were you kind of expecting Shane Bieber to be on the move today?
I thought it was gonna be to the Cubs. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, so did I. I thought Bieber would be a Cub, but I'm not complaining about it. I think that all these teams wanted Mo Baller and Wiggins, but Jed wasn't ready to trade Jackson Wiggins or Mo Baller. So give him
And
more time over the offseason to try and get an ace.
I agree. And the thing is, it's like people are going to react now. Obviously, this is kind of our first reactions to the trade deadline and stuff. And as much as I'm really pissed off and I don't think their pitching is really there, who knows? Mike Soroka just maybe needed a change of scenery and maybe he's going to pop off as a starter, right? We don't know. Like, there's a chance it could happen. Maybe all these teams that, we wanted these high end starters from wanted Mo Baller and Jed trusts the process in Mo Baller. And Mo Baller's going to go out there and, He's gonna ball out in the playoffs and for the rest of this season. We don't know. Give it time. That's just what I'm gonna say. Give it time. Right now, I don't really like how little they did, but I'm just gonna say give it time.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And look what they've done on the bright side with this roster. They have the best record in baseball with these guys.
Yeah, and I mean, think about in 2016, right? They were kind of the same. They were really good. They were contending, and there were no blockbusters from Jed. Believe Chapman was the only big move,
It was not
and
Jed at the time, actually.
it was what?
It was not Jed at the
Oh
time.
yeah, you're right. That's on me. But yeah, just what I mean is, like they had it was Theo, right?
Yeah, Theo Epstein.
Yeah, it was Theo. So Theo, you know, they just have a history. My Jed was in the organization. That's on me. But yeah, so Theo, they didn't make any blockbusters. They really never have made any huge blockbusters. They're a big market team, but they're just known they don't pay. They didn't make any huge moves at the deadline in 2016. Chapman was the biggest, and that was a big move, but it wasn't a huge move. And look what they did, right? You got the banner hanging right behind you.
Yeah, for sure. And then the Tigers acquired relief pitcher Paul Sewald for a player to be named or catch considerations. And our first blockbuster of the day, the Padres acquired flame-throwing closer Mason Miller and left-handed starter J.P. Sears in a blockbusting deal that sended the number 3 overall prospect in baseball, Leo Dallas de Varis, as well as pitchers Brett Nett, Henry Baez, and Eduardo Nunez. Sorry, some hard names to pronounce. What was your initial reactions to this trade?
I mean, I wasn't really that shocked just because I knew it was coming. Dylan Cease was maybe being traded, and so I hear this is a rumor going around right now, but I hear that they might turn Mason Miller into a starter, which is kind of crazy. But um, yeah, I wasn't really shocked. Good pickup for the Padres though.
Yeah, and then the Tigers acquired Kyle Finnegan from the Nationals in exchange for the 15th ranked prospect in Detroit, Josh Randall and RJ Sales, two pitchers. Not a terrible trade at all. Kind of a win-win, I thought. And then the Phillies acquired Harrison Bader in exchange for two minor league outfielders, Henry Mendez, who is their 12th ranked prospect, and right-hander Jeremy Villarroa. Sorry, I probably butchered that name. A lot of hard names. And then the Tigers acquired Cody Hoyer for cash considerations from the Rangers. And then the Padres acquired Freddie Fermin, who's a catcher on the Royals, in exchange for right-handed pitcher Ryan Baggert and Stefan Kolik.
Real quick about that trade. This is so funny. So I was at the National Collectors Convention today, and I was looking at my phone. Obviously, it was the deadline. So as I was getting the notification, I was checking the trades, and I saw Freddie Freeman's name. Now that looks kind of like Freddie Freeman a little, and I had to look twice because I swear I was like, did Freddie Freeman just get traded? For some reason, I was looking at it and I was like, what the heck? But then I was like, oh boy, that's on me.
Yeah, and then another blockbuster, I would say. I don't know, blockbuster, but a big trade. The Yankees acquired closer David Bednar from the Pirates in exchange for catching and first base prospect Rafael Flores, who is the eighth prospect. Catcher and first baseman Edwin Perez, 14th ranked prospect for the Yankees, and outfielder Brian Sanchez. A big trade. Yankees acquired two back into the bullpen guys, including Devin Williams, a deadly team in the late playoffs for sure and late
Yeah.
innings.
Yeah, I mean Brian Cashman legacy trade deadline. Like they have almost a complete different bullpen. Like it was a great deadline for them. Definitely one of the winners. Yeah, another great move.
Yeah, for sure. And then another kind of blockbuster trade. The Mets acquired center fielder Cedric Mullins from the Orioles in exchange for Anthony Nunez, Ramon Gomez, and Chandler Marsh. They were all pitching prospects. Nunez was the 14th prospect, and Gomez was the 30th. And then the Dodgers acquired reliever Brock Stewart from the Twins in exchange for James Outman. Stewart has a 2.38 ERA. Dodgers needed bullpen help, and they got that in Brock Stewart. And James Outman, he just kind of needed a fresh start. We'll see how he does in Minnesota. And then the Yankees acquired reliever Jake Bird from the Rockies in exchange for infielder Rock Riggio, who was the Yankees' 10th prospect, and Ben Shields, who was their 28th ranked prospect. What a day for this Yankees bullpen, man. Jake Bird, you got David Bednar, you got Devin Williams, not today, just in general, and then top that off with Camille Duval. Just
Yeah.
unreal.
I mean, hey Jed, it's possible. Like I just an unbelievable trade deadline from them. They literally like they were kind of a team where I was like, I don't know if they're even gonna make the playoffs. I now think they're World Series contenders again.
Yeah, I could agree with that. And the Astros acquired outfielder Jesus Sanchez from the Marlins in exchange for right-handed starter Ryan Gusto. The Padres acquired infielder son of Billy Wagner, Will Wagner, in exchange for minor league catcher Brandon Valenzuela, who was the Padres' 28th ranked prospect. Will Wagner, pretty solid left-handed bat, getting a fresh start on the Padres, going to be a bench bat for them. The Rangers acquired left-handed reliever Danny Colombe from the Twins in exchange for minor league left-hander Garrett Horn. The Dodgers acquired outfielder Alex Call in exchange for Eric Shawn, who is their 16th prospect, and Sean Paul Lynn, who is their 28th ranked prospect, both right-handed arms. Another blockbuster, the Padres acquired Ryan O'Hearn and Ramon Laureano in exchange for Boston Bateman, who is San Diego's fourth prospect, Cobb Tightwar, the sixth ranked prospect, Victor Figueroa, the 29th ranked prospect, and Tyson Neighbors, their 12th ranked prospect. Also, Brandon Buttersworth, Tanner Smith. So that might have been the biggest trade of the deadline. That was huge. And the Padres, I didn't know if they were going to make the playoffs. Now they're looking like another team that could be a World Series contender.
Yeah, 100%, a great move for them. The Orioles, it took a little bit for them to kind of get active. We'll get to the Cedric Mullins trade in a little bit here, but
We
yeah,
already
right. What?
we already did.
We did? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we did. Boy, that's on me. Not locked in. But Ryan O'Hearn, I thought they were gonna move him until like I'd say I thought he was gonna be more of like like a Tuesday kind of trade. You know what I mean? I didn't think it was gonna take them, this long to move him. And yeah, that was a crazy move for the Padres. Again, another potential winner of the trade deadline. They did a really great job.
Yeah, for sure. And then the Rangers acquired Merrill Kelly from the Diamondbacks in exchange for Cole Drake, a left-handed pitcher who is their fifth-ranked prospect, left-hander Mitch Bratt, who is their ninth-ranked prospect, and right-hander David Hagman, who's their 13th-ranked prospect. Man, did Arizona get a haul from Merrill Kelly.
Yeah, I mean, again, this might be one of those things where it's like Jed was like Arizona asked too much. So again, don't really want to put like it's so tough because you never hear about the decline trades or like kind of more of like what they asked for. Like there's a chance they asked for like Casey Mobile, like, and they probably didn't ask for like the top five prospects, but like it's definitely possible that they just asked for way too much. So again, I'm not gonna throw shade too much because again, I don't understand like or I don't know, what was offered and what was turned down.
Yeah, and then the Yankees acquired infielder Oswald Peraza in exchange for international bonus money and outfielder Wilberson De Pena. And then the Willie Castro trade, you guys all know about that. And then our guy, Bailey Falter, got traded to the Royals in exchange for left handed pitcher Evan Sinks and first baseman Callan Moss. Our boy Bailey. Two of our guys, Steven Matz and Bailey Falter, both traded from division rivals. I'll take that for sure.
Yeah, yeah, they good change of scenery for Bailey Falter there.
Yeah, and then the Padres acquired Nestor Cortez from the Brewers in exchange for outfielder Brandon Lockridge. Just kind of two major league ready guys. Win win trade, I would say. Then the Yankees acquired Jose Calabrero in exchange for Everson Pereira and a player to be named later. You guys don't realize Jose Cabrera is top 10 in the league in stolen bases, so he's a deadly a pinch runner late in games, and that's something that's not talked about enough.
Yeah, that plays a huge part in like pinch runners. Like they play a huge part, like in like look at I think it was 04. Like Dave Roberts gets pinch ran or gets goes in at first, immediately steals a base. It was in the bottom of the ninth inning, elimination game, down one. Immediately steals a base, is in scoring position, and then they knock him in. If he's not on second there, they might not tie the game and then eventually win the game. But yeah, pinch runners, they play a huge part. So it's definitely important to get yourself a solidified quick pinch runner.
I think the Cubs have that in Matt Shaw though.
Oh, 100%. Yep, I agree.
And then the Taylor Rogers trade, you guys know. And then the Red Sox acquired Dustin May in exchange for James Tibbs, Boston's fifth ranked prospect. I think this was a way overpay. I don't know about you, but I think James Tibbs is going to be a stud, and the Dodgers got another top 100 really good prospect.
Yeah, it really seemed like Boston overpaid for the guys they got.
Yeah, for sure. And then another last minute trade, the Rays acquired reliever Griffin Jacks for starting pitcher Taj Bradley. Another two major league ready guys. Change of scenery. Griffin Jacks would have been a really good get for the Cubs. I'm kind of bummed they missed out on him.
Yeah, I agree.
And the Rays acquired Adrian Hauser from the White Sox in exchange for Curtis Mead, an infielder. And then another big trade. The Astros acquired Carlos Correa in cash considerations in exchange for the Twins' left-handed pitcher Matt Milwaukee, but Houston will pay majority of his deal, which is kind of surprising.
I can't believe Correa's back. It's crazy. I think he's very happy to be back in Houston. But Houston, talented, got a lot more talented at the deadline here.
Yeah, for sure. And then another big trade. The Yankees acquired Camilo Doval in exchange for Giants catcher Jesus Rodriguez, their 26th ranked prospect. Lefty Tristan Versling, their 19th ranked prospect, and infielder Parks Harbor, and lefty Carlos de la Rosa. And then the Blue Jays acquired first baseman Ty France and relief pitcher Louis Varland in exchange for Alan Roden and lefty Kendry Roses, who was the Toronto's fifth ranked prospect. Man, did Minnesota trade anything and everything.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly who the two names are, but they have two players under contract next year. That's it. They traded, I believe it was like 41% of their like in their I think I can't remember exactly their I believe their 40 man is like half gone.
Yeah, a lot of major league debuts coming up, safe to say, for the Minnesota Twins.
Yeah, that's going to be a triple A ball club roster. Like it's crazy who they gave up.
Yeah. And then the Reds acquired Miguel Andujar from the Athletics in exchange for righty Kenya Huggins, who was their 22nd ranked prospect. The Tigers acquired Charlie Morton from the Orioles in exchange for left-handed pitcher Micah Ashman. The Brewers eh, the Brewers got Jordan Montgomery, who's still recovering from Tommy John, and right-handed reliever Shelby Miller for a player to be named later, cash considerations from the Diamondbacks. The Royals got Mike Yastrzemski from the Giants in exchange for Junior Marte, their 20th ranked prospect. And then the Phillies acquired Phil Maton, relief pitcher from the Cardinals, in exchange for Skyler Hales, Mason Molina, as well as international bonus pool money. The Phillies acquired Matt Manning from the Tigers in exchange for outfield Joseph Quinzens. I don't know how to say that name. That was it for the deadline. What was the most like crazy trade? Never would have expected it.
I mean, there was so many. Honestly, like when I see it all play out, it's not that surprising that they did it. I mean, Carlos Correa going home. Like I feel like that was shocking that he went there. I know there was something about his no trade clause or something involved where he like kind of wanted to go back, but I was still pretty shocked that it actually went through. I mean, Dustin May getting traded was pretty crazy. I know he was expected to maybe go somewhere, but also he was fitting well with the Dodgers. But I think I mean Cedric Mullins, maybe. I don't know. Like there were a lot of crazy ones that that went through. Um, yeah, there's not really one that stands out.
Yeah, now we will get into our winners and losers from the trade deadline. My first big winner has to be the Seattle Mariners. They walked away with two of the biggest bats at the deadline, Eugenio Suarez and Josh Naylor, and they didn't have to give up that much in the process. Now you got the duo of Raleigh, and you also got the duo of Raleigh, Suarez, Naylor, Rodriguez, just a lot of great bats on the team. You also got Caleb Ferguson for a setup man to help out Andres Munoz. Do you think they give Houston a run for their money?
I think they win the division. I'm not gonna lie. Hot take right here. I think they win the division. They're definitely gonna make the playoffs. I don't think that they're gonna lose that wild card bid, but yeah, I think they're gonna win the division. They're a really good team right now.
Yeah, for sure. Now my next winner is the New York Mets. Now I think they might have the best bullpen in the league. Already with Edwin Diaz, Reed Garrett, Ryan Stanek, and Brooks Raley. They just got um sorry. They got Gregory Soto, Ryan Helsley, and Tyler Rogers all to help out with that bullpen. And then they also got Cedric Mullins, who gives more offense than Tyrone Taylor. I think this team's going to be a problem in the playoffs with that bullpen. Is so stacked.
Yeah, I honestly, I mean, with the moves the Dodgers and Mets made, like I feel like the NL Central winner is gonna end up being the 3 seed, and I don't think the Cubs are gonna get the bye or the Brewers if they win the division. But yeah, the Mets got so much better, and the arms, the bullpen got a lot better, and then the Dodgers made some good moves too. But yeah, the Mets, they're a scary team.
And then my last one, I tried picking a sneaky winner, the Sacramento Athletics. They got Leo De Veres in the trade, who's the number 3 ranked prospect. The last time there was a prospect that was traded that big at the deadline was Eloy Jimenez from the Cubs. He's getting comparisons from Carlos Correa and Francisco Lindor, and he's going to be the next franchise player for the Athletics.
Yeah, they got a good haul of kind of young guys. Just a perfect a seller's dream right there. Getting what you need with the young guys, build the system up and be good in 3, 5 years in that range.
Yeah, so who are your winners?
So for my first winner, I'm gonna get the Philadelphia Phillies. CBS gives them a B plus. I think that should be bumped up a little bit. The NL East, I think they're gonna give the Mets kind of maybe a run for their money. Do you think that they could potentially win that division, stay competitive? Oh, you're muted, Ryan. There you
Sorry
go.
about that. Stacking up that rotation and that bullpen, absolutely. I think they win that division.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they did their part. The big I think the big move was the lockdown closer Johan Duran. They got them from the Twins were just throwing everybody away, and then they got the center field issue. They added Harrison Bader from that same team. They're a really good team that got a lot better. So yeah, the Phillies, they're my first winner. My second winner should be kind of obvious. The San Diego Padres. CBS has them at an A plus. Completely agree with that. I think them and the next team I'm gonna say won the deadline. Right now they're kind of trying to hold on to that wild card spot, but I think that that's not going to be kind of an issue now. I think they'll be all good there. Flamethrower, Mason Miller, Ryan O'Hearn, Ramon Liriano, adding Freddie Fermin. You know, then they didn't move Dylan Cease, so he'll stay on the roster. They got Nasty Nestor too. They're going to be a really scary team.
Yeah, they are. And you didn't even mention that they kept their closer, Robert Suarez, as well. So you'll have Suarez and Miller in the back end of the ball. I feel like the Cubs are really the only team in the NL in pretension that doesn't have like a star-studded back of the bullpen. In Milwaukee, you got all-star closer Tyler McGill. In the Mets, you have arguably the best bullpen in the league. The Phillies just got Johan Duran, as well as that they have Matt Strom and Jose Romero. In LA, they got Tanner Scott, Kirby Yates, and just deadly back in the bullpen. And now for the Padres, you got Mason Miller and Robert Suarez. I think the Cubs are really the only one of those teams that doesn't have a solidified back at the bullpen.
Yeah, I think the Cubs are just trying to do what they did in 2016, catch lightning in a bottle and get lucky, which that's just not not a mentality to have.
No, not at all. You gotta want to win and be like, all right, coming out of the deadline, we're the best team in the league. You don't want to just have that catch lightning in a bottle because the Cubs are a very hot and not team.
Yeah, I agree. They'll go out there for a week, be amazing, show us that, they're a contender, then the next week be terrible, right? So they're very inconsistent. They did fix some needs, but there's some needs that weren't fixed. We'll see what happens with Soroka, what he kind of does. So it'll be interesting. But my last winner, the New York Yankees, Brian Cashman, a lot of big moves. Austin Slater, Ahmed Rosario, Jose Caballero, and then Ryan McMahon, David Bednar, Jake Bird, Camilo Duvall. Like the list keeps. I mean, it's what a deadline from them. Again, like I said, they went from a team that I didn't even know if they were going to make the playoffs to I think they can win a World Series.
Yep, and now we'll get into the losers. My first loser is the Detroit Tigers. Pitching wise, they only got Chris Paddock, Charlie Morton, Kyle Finnegan, Paul Sewald, Rafael Montero, and Cody Hoyer. None of those are really big names. I mean, I like the Finnegan move, but Paddock and Morton are solidified starters. They were the best team coming in to the deadline, and I don't think they did enough at all. My next team is the Milwaukee Brewers. The Milwaukee Brewers are in a fight for the first place seed with the Cubs right now, and they did not do anything. They lost out on a bunch of guys, and they made no major deals. I'm not going to say the Cubs did any better, but the Brewers did not have a good deadline. And then my last loser, sorry, I'm looking at my script right now of losers. Obviously, the Minnesota Twins, they basically sold their entire team. They sold Carlos Correa, Johan Duran, Griffin Jacks, Luis Farland, Danny Colombe, Harrison Bader, Willie Castro, Brock Stewart, Chris Paddock. They kept Joe Ryan and Byron Buxton, but why keep them if you're not going to have a team? They're not going to be competitive for 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, I agree. They're going to be out of the mix for a while. They're a team that, in what was it last year? Didn't they
Last
make
year, they
that?
beat the Blue Jays in the playoff series.
Yeah, I mean to go from that to I don't think they should have blown it all up. In reality, I think they should have, maybe made a move here and there, but I don't think they should have blown it all up. There's potential there, but the moves have been made. So yeah, I think the Twins are the loser of this deadline.
I totally agree with that. Then who are your three losers?
So I'll start you off with the Cleveland Guardians. So right now, I mean, they traded two players who are currently injured. Otherwise, they didn't do anything. Keeping Quan was pretty big. They're only 2 games out of a playoff spot. I mean, why trade Shane Bieber? They have a lackluster back end of the rotation. I mean, they're trying to save money, but again, they're only 2.5 games out of a playoff spot. So I don't really understand what Cleveland was doing.
Yeah, I don't agree with that either. It's probably because they're nowhere near the division. They don't want to bet on the wild card. I don't know because this is kind of the Tigers' window now. I don't know what they were doing personally.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then for my next loser, I'm gonna go the Baltimore Orioles. So, the fans mostly because from 2018 to 2021, the Baltimore Orioles were a laughing stock. They were just terrible. They were sellers in 2022 also. They finally built that team up. I believe they won 100 plus games in 2023. We're just shy last year. I know they were a wild card team. They didn't win any playoff series or playoff games. Sorry, they didn't win any playoff games in that span, and here they are selling again. That just can't happen. That is a terrible, terrible rebuild from the Baltimore front office.
Yeah, this was they were one of the most promising teams in baseball in the past couple of years. I mean, you got Jackson Holiday, Gunnar Henderson, all these pitching coming up. Felix Bautista in the back end of your bullpen, and you just blow everything up. Like so disappointing from their front office. But it can't be all on them. The players didn't show up this year, and that's the result.
Yeah, I agree with that. So then, my last loser, Eric Fetty. Eric Fetty, actually, he was DFA'd. He's having a pretty bad year. And then you go Tyler Kinley to serve in a setup role. Doesn't really make much sense. I mean, they're not inspiring at all. And then, they're unable to trade away like Marcelo Zuna, pending free agent, unable to move him. Um, I just and then Rice Iglesias too, pending they weren't able to move him. I just think it was pretty lackluster from Atlanta.
I agree with that. So now we'll get into a little preview of the Cubs' upcoming series. They start on Friday tomorrow at 1:20. Cade Horton on the bump, 4-3 on the year with a 3.67 ERA. I think Cade Horton is a guy that really needs to step up for this team. They need another guy who can be shut down. I really could see Cade Horton being that. His stuff is electric, and I think he's going to have a hell of a second half. What about you?
I'm hoping that he's been on. He's been really on since that Houston kind of massacre. Yeah, I have high hopes in Cade Horton. The stuff is there. We've seen it. Yeah, I'm really really hoping, and I think there's a chance that he's going to be a pretty um solid starter in the second half.
Maybe he can build up to getting Craig's trust to start a playoff game. We don't know. And then for the Orioles, it's Trevor Rogers. The 27-year-old is 4-1 on the year in 8 games with a 1.49 ERA. So he's been really good. His last start was against the Rockies. He went 7 innings, 1 hit. Baseball. He pitched against the Rays. He went 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs. He pitched against Miami, 6 innings and 2/3, 2 hits, 1 run. So he's on a hell of a run right now. Cubs are going to have to figure out a way to hit him. Hopefully, Willie Castro's in the lineup tomorrow because he hits lefties pretty well.
Yeah, I agree. I fully expect Willie Castro to be in the lineup. Really, no doubt there. We'll see his Cub debut at Wrigley. Always fun to see that. The new trade pieces for a solid team make their debuts at Wrigley. So yeah, pretty excited to see. I think he's gonna be in the lineup and maybe have a day.
Yeah. Before we get in the Cubs recap Saturday, Scooball versus Wheeler on Saturday. That's going to be a heck of a matchup. Two of the
Yeah,
best
that is.
pitchers in baseball. And then you also got the Brewstall Motor Speedway series on Saturday night. It's supposed to be the most attended game in MLB history. You could catch that game on FS1. Super excited.
Who's pitching?
For the Braves, we got Spencer Strider, and for the Reds is the newcomer Chase Burns.
Okay, not bad, not bad matchup. Really excited for that game, by the way.
On a less exciting side, Saturday's gonna be a very emotional game. The Rhino ceremonies, all the Cubs players are gonna be wearing the old Cubs blues with number 23 on it. They're gonna do all the ceremonies. That's gonna be a very emotional day, and hopefully the Cubs can pull out a W.
Yeah, so they said that was his favorite jersey was the blue pullovers. They said that they couldn't get the pullovers just because it's not the '80s anymore. But yeah, so they're all gonna wear 23. No name on the back. Ryan. They said Rhino was always a team player. He said you play for the team on the front, you don't play for the name on the back. So yeah, he said that's his favorite jersey, the blue pullover with no name on the back. So yeah, very emotional day. Saturday's gonna be fully you know, for him, and it's the Cubs for a cure game. I know they're doing the big stream right now on 670 to score, so that's cool to see. They've had a lot of people with some health problems on there, and it's great to see. I know PCA was on earlier, so yeah, prayers up to everybody suffering from that, and it'll be a fun but also pretty emotional day at Wrigley on Saturday.
Yeah, for sure. And taking the mound for the Cubs will be Ben Brown. He's 5-7 on the year with a 6.22 ERA. He's coming off a great start on the South Side, 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 run. Hopefully, he can build off that momentum. And for the Orioles, it is Thomas Yuki Segundo. He's 8-5 on the year with a 4.38 ERA. And then in the rubber match for the Cubs, it's Matthew Boyd. He's 11-4 with a 2.47 ERA, and then Zach Eflin just hit the IL. This was supposed to be his start, so it will probably be a call up or someone will be going. We're not sure.
I could see it being a bullpen game maybe for them, but or it could be a call up. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm excited for this series. So now we'll take a look around the MLB. There was only 3 games tonight. The Braves beat the Reds 12-11 in 10 innings. This was the most home runs hit in a game this year. The Reds erased a 8-run deficit in the eighth inning, but then the Brewers, Marcelo Zuna hits a sac fly. That was a crazy game, man.
That's like all time like Chicago Bears moments right there. Like a big
Yeah,
comeback and then blowing it late in the game. Man, I feel bad for Reds fans.
yeah. Well, no, actually, it was the Reds who came back in the bottom of the eighth. Could Brian
That's what I
Hayes?
mean.
Could
No, that's what I
Brian?
mean. To
Oh,
come
come back
back
to
to come
lose.
back and then lose. Yeah.
Could Brian Hayes hit his first home run as a Red, his third on the year. So it was a 3-run shot. This ball was smoked. Hopefully, I assume he'll have a lot of home runs there.
Oh, for sure.
And then the Yankees beat the Rays 7-4. Giancarlo Stanton hit a mammoth 2-run shot. Marcus Stroman with a good start. The Yankees get some momentum off that trade deadline, get their 60th win on the year. And then right now, the Rangers and Mariners just started there, tied at 0-0. I'm gonna check what Eugenio Suarez did in his first couple at bats. In Gino's first at bat, he struck out. In his second at
One
bat,
for
he hit
two.
a double.
There you go, Seattle. And that just happened too.
Yeah, it did. So standings after Milwaukee 1 game ahead of the Cubbies. The Mets are a half a game ahead of the Phillies. Dodgers 3 games ahead of the Padres. Blue Jays 3.5 games ahead of the Yankees. Tigers 9 games ahead of the Guardians. Houston 5 games ahead of Seattle and Texas. And then in the wild card race, the Cubs have a 3.5 game lead. The Phillies have 1.5 game lead, and then the Padres have a 3.5 game lead. So pretty secure for the top 6 teams in the NL. That's gonna be a very hard division to come out of for sure. And then
Yeah, for sure.
the American League, the Yankees have a 3 game lead. The Red Sox have a game and a half lead, and then Mariners and Rangers are tied for that last spot. The Guardians are 2.5 games back. The Royals are 3 games back. Tampa's 3.5 games back. The Angels are 4 games back. Minnesota is now 5.5 games back, soon to be a lot games back.
Yeah.
So
Well, you're muted, Ryan.
now we're gonna play MLB Pickle. Ryan, give me a player.
Willie Castro.
There we go. Willie Castro, I like it. I like it. He's in the NL, a righty righty. I know West righty righty. Will Smith. He's on LA, a righty righty. Not from the USA though.
Pitcher? Or you don't know yet?
I don't know yet. I'll go a pitcher.
Yeah, just
Um,
guess like
Yashibu Yamamoto.
yeah.
Not a starting pitcher. Reliever, I'll guess Kirby Yates. It's not a reliever. It's not a catcher. First base is Freddie's lefty lefty. I'll go Teoscar, maybe. There we go. Teoscar Hernandez is your MLB Pickle Player of the Day. So now we will get into Immaculate Grid. First is Rangers and Tigers. Tough one, huh?
Oh, well, 300
For
300
Pittsburgh
average
and Tampa Bay, Chris Archer.
for who?
Pittsburgh and Tampa Bay, Chris Archer.
Oh, then 300 average for Texas. Let's go like Beltray or something.
Beltre, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. St. Louis 300. Pujols.
Yeah.
Yep. And then Pittsburgh 300.
Let's go with like Josh Harrison.
Roberto Clemente. Yep, Roberto Clemente.
Did Josh Harrison ever hit 300? If
I
he
don't
did,
know.
I'm gonna go with that just for the rarity score.
I know the Rays and Cardinals made a trade last year. I just can't think of who it was for.
Oh, he did hit. He hit 315. I bet Josh Harrison.
We could go Tommy Pham for Rays and Cardinals. You got Tommy Pham, Rays and Rangers. You got any in mind?
Not right now. Let's see. Um, what? Wait,
I think wait, did
Rangers
Nelly Cruz play for the Rangers?
for who?
The Rangers. I feel like we always miss him. Nelson Cruz.
Yeah, I think so. Or I don't know.
I'll go with it. I feel like
Go
we
with
always
it.
miss him. I think he did. There we go. Nelly Cruz. Now we just need these Tigers guys. Tigers in St. Louis, Jack Flaherty. There we go.
So wait, so who do we need?
Tigers and Pirates.
Tigers and okay, there we go. Boy.
And then the other one we need is
Oh
Tigers
wait,
and
wait,
Rangers.
I'm stupid. Wait, it's Tigers and Pirates, right?
Yeah, I think for Rangers and Tigers, I think Pudge played for both of them.
I know Tigers Pirates Josh Harrison, but I already used them.
For Tigers and Pirates?
Yeah,
All right, I'm immaculate, folks.
there you go. I'll count that as a win too.
Thank you guys for tuning in to today's show. I had a lot of fun. Hope you guys did too. Signing off, Ryan Dunleavy.
Ryan Zelinsky.
See you guys in the next episode as we recap Cubs Orioles tomorrow.